Hey guys, it's Alexis, aka the Soft Reader, and I'm here today to do the mid-year book Freakout tag. This is one of my favorite videos to do. This is one of my favorite videos to watch. I did do it last year. I'll link it down below in case you want to go check out my answers for last year. There are 15 questions, so let's just go ahead and get straight on into it. Question number 1 is the best book you've read this year. Now, this is going to be the best objective book I've read this year. Not necessarily my favorite book I've read this year, though it is going to definitely be on my favorites list. It's just objectively the book I think is the best that I read this year. And it's going to be a book that's going to be so many other people's answers, and I know that, but I honestly couldn't give this to anybody else. And that is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This book came out at the tail end of February. This is the book that's inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement. And personally, I just think that this book hits on so many levels. This book is funny. This book is frustrating. This book makes you cry. I think Star is a standout main character. I think a lot of the other characters in this book are really well fleshed out. Star's family is one of my favorite literary families now because I think her parents are fantastic. I think this book talks about so many issues just beyond the Black Lives Matter movement and the issue of police brutality in the United States. I just think this book hits on like every level, and it's so good. And like, I want everyone to read this book forever. Like, this book should never not be on the bestsellers list, to be honest. It should stay there for the remainder of life. The next question is the best sequel you've read this year, and I actually haven't read that many sequels. I feel like I've just been reading chunks of series this year, but without a doubt, my answer would still be the same, and that is A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab. This is the third and final book in the Shades of Magic series by V.E. Schwab, and this book for me was everything I wanted it to be. I know some people were a little disappointed with it, but personally, it was just exactly what I wanted. I don't think that there's anything I would have changed to be a better finale. I thought all of the character growth moments and some of the redemption arcs in this book is just so good. There's one character in particular in this book that just finally got all of the attention he deserved. I loved it. And just, yeah, this book made me laugh. This book made me cry. This book mostly just made me cry. I started it crying and I pretty much finished it crying, so loved it. The next question is a new release that you haven't read yet but you'd like to, and hands down it's going to have to go to The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. I thought I was going to pick this book up the day it came out. That didn't happen, and here it is in July, 3 months after it's come out, and I still haven't read it yet. This follows our main character Molly, who has had a plethora of crushes that have been unrequited, and so finally her sister and her sister's girlfriend like work to help Molly finally get a boyfriend. And I've heard some fantastic things about the plus size rep in this book, a lot of the rep in general, and I've also just heard Molly is super relatable, and Becky Albertalli is a fantastic author, especially for YA books, and so I'm just super excited to get to this one. The next question is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I do have my second half of the year most anticipated video coming up in a few days, so spoiler alert for that one, but I have to say it's going to be One Dark Throne by Kendar Blake. Three Dark Crowns was one of my favorite books of last year, and I've just been waiting a year eagerly to figure out how this ends, and I'm super excited for it, like super duper excited. The next question is your biggest disappointment, and I feel like I should stop bringing this book up so I stop breaking everybody's heart, but I have to say it's A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I was expecting to give this book 5 out of 5 stars like the thousands of people who have done the same, and I couldn't even finish it. I got 200 pages into it and I literally thought to myself, do I even care anymore? Do I care if all of these characters die in a horrific meteor crash? And when my answer to that question was no, I figured I should probably not push through the remaining 400 pages. So yeah, I have to say I was super disappointed in this one, unfortunately. The next question is your biggest surprise, and I think there are definitely a couple of books that I could definitely put on this list, but I think the one that stands out the most is To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. Now, I always knew I would like this book. I mean, so many people like this book, but I never thought I was going to love this book. I never expected myself standing here saying that this trilogy was one of my favorites ever. Like, my favorite series list, this series makes it on here because I love it. I love it so much. I love, especially this first book, man. This first book is my jam. But I love the series. I love the characters and the plot, and it makes me laugh and smile like an idiot, and I just love the series so much. The next question is your favorite new author. This could be a debut author or an author that is just new to you, and it's an author that's new to me. I don't know why it's taken me eons to read this book, but it is Leigh Bardugo, because I finally read Shadow and Bone after having this book for like, I don't know, 5 years or something like that. So finally read it, I get it, I get Leigh Bardugo, I get the hype. I'm pretty much trash for her now, and I'm so excited to read the rest of her books she's written because I loved this. The next question is your new fictional crush. And I had to think about this one a minute, and I was like, alright, of all the characters I read about this year, which one would I most want to date? And I was kind of like, okay, nah. And a lot of them I was like, no, I shipped them with their love interest too much. And I finally decided on Anna from Anna and the French Kiss. I would date the hell out of that girl, to be honest. Like, Anna likes history and architecture, and she just wants to watch critically acclaimed films and discuss them, and that is literally, like, all I want to do. Like, I would totally go on old school Francis Ford Coppola binge marathon dates with Anna. Yes, absolutely. So, Anna. Have to give it to Anna, because, again, I would date the hell out of that girl. The next question is your favorite new character, and I'm going to give it to Dani from Dreadnought by April Daniels. I immediately latched onto Dani as a character. Dani is a trans female superhero, and even though I am not a trans female superhero, I just think Dani is precious. I want to protect her. I want to, like, adopt her as my daughter and, like, give her all of the love that she doesn't get, and I just want to make sure that she's okay, and that whatever her favorite cookies are, I want to bake them for her, and I love Dani. I thought Dani was just such a stellar character. I thought her development was written so well, and just Dani, man, I just want to look out for Dani. I want to protect her. She doesn't need me to protect her, but I want to protect her. The next question is a book that made you cry, and I have to say History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. To be honest, I think I've cried in both of Adam Silvera's books. This book tells the story of Griffin and his relationship with his ex-boyfriend Theo, and so we get the present tense after Theo has passed away, and we also get the past as Griffin and Theo were becoming a relationship. And pretty much all of the parts that took place in the present, I pretty much cried consistently through, especially in the first half of the book. Every time it was present and Griffin was dealing with his grief of losing Theo, I literally like had to put the book down because I was like crying so hard. I was like hyperventilating crying, and I like couldn't see through my tears. So definitely have to give it to this one. The next question is a book that made you happy, and I just gotta give it to the Percy Jackson series. I read the last 4 books in the series, Sea of Monsters, Titan's Curse, Battle of the Labyrinth, and The Last Olympian, and the series just makes me so happy. I mean, it definitely has its sad and frustrating moments, but as a whole, man, it just makes me happy. The whole Camp Half-Blood crew, man, just makes me happy, and they're so sassy, and they're just like, yeah, fighting for our friends, and they make me happy. I just want to be on an adventure with these guys. Like, that's all I want, man. I just want to go on a dangerous Half-Blood quest with the crew. I would die immediately, but it doesn't stop me from wanting it, okay? The next question is your favorite book to film adaptation you've seen this year. I haven't seen any. There's a bunch I want to see. I haven't even watched any of the TV show adaptations. I've started, like, all of them. I started 13 Reasons Why, Series of Unfortunate Events, Big Little Lies, and The Handmaid's Tale. I started all of them. I haven't finished any of them. Oops. So I'm actually going to have to say kind of what I did last year, where last year my favorite answer was Deadpool. So I'm going to have to say my favorite answer is Wonder Woman. It's a comic book adaptation, so we're going to count it. And I freaking loved Wonder Woman. I thought it was fantastic. So I'm gonna go with Wonder Woman. The next question is your favorite video you filmed this year, and I think my favorite video I did was the collab I did with my friend Suzanne when I went up to Kentucky to visit her, and that was the Judge a Book by Its Cover challenge, where I just picked some popular YA books that she knew nothing about and was like, hey, guess the plot. And overall it was just a lot of fun. I'll link it down below. It was just fun to get to do a video with one of my best friends and to just kind of show her what I really love, which is reading and books and YA, because trash for YA. The next question is the most beautiful book you've bought or received this year, and it's a book that it's an ARC I received, and it's gorgeous, and I'll definitely be buying a finished copy when it comes out, and the finished copy is going to be equally as beautiful because it's the same book, and that is Retribution Rails by Erin Bowman. Vengeance Row, the first book in this series, the companion to this one, is one of my all-time favorite book covers, and in my opinion Retribution Rails is equally as beautiful, so that's like my two favorite book covers. There you go. So of course when I got an ARC of this one, it was definitely going to be this book because it's stunning. And finally, the last question is, what books do you have to read by the end of the year? I posted a video back in January about the top books I needed to read in 2017. I'll also link that down below in case you want to go check it out. I'm about halfway done with that list. Two of them I've DNF'd and have decided I'm not going to push myself to read, so oops. Spoiler alert for an update on that. Of the remaining books I have left on that list, the one I'm most excited to read is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I have had this book since it first came out. Like, this is a first edition of The Night Circus. I bought it when it came out in 2011. I am like one of the last 10 people who've never read this book. I'm going to read it this year. I'm saving it, I think, for September. For some reason it feels like a September book to me, but it's gonna get read. I'm excited to read it. I hope I will love it and that I'm not just going to continue my streak of not liking a bunch of popular books. I don't want to be that person. So yeah, The Night Circus. Alright guys, so that was the mid-year book freakout tag. Like I said, I absolutely love doing this tag. I love watching this tag. But you guys should let me know both what was the biggest surprise read of this year for you and what was your biggest disappointment. Love the answer to those questions, and I'll see you guys soon with another video.